It was an early morning meetup at a mansion on the mountain. The maestro still had glitter on his face. They led us to the office, and once my eyes adjusted, I took a little look around the place. On the mantle was a portrait of his father and the fortune he'd amassed by being ruthless but polite. In a bottle was a model, a specific British clipper ship. On his desk there was a pistol and a pipe. The sunrise wasn't perfect, but it was close enough to count. Vibrations were impatient, said he's sick of running out. But first we set the prices, and then we talk about amounts. Sweet parade the morning brings, the drifters wearing angel wings. Sad distorted hymns they sing, so sad the night is over. Shepherds started spinning out, the cowboys trying to dismount. St. Francis with the pigeons on his shoulder. So while you're here in person, I was kinda sorta hoping I could ask you about this girl I met last night. She had the aura of an angel. She had a couple problems. Guess the big one is she's someone else's wife. Didn't even bring it up with any sort of plan in place. Said she was just putting out the feelers. When she asked if she could choke you underneath the blacklight poster with a spaceman singing, "Take me to your dealer." The scene it only moves at a few different speeds. Forage and gather, attack and retreat. We're gonna finish up our business, then we'll finally get some sleep. And all the things that I've never even noticed before, turns out that they don't even matter. Someone hits the switch in the kitchen, all the insects just scatter. Broken birds all headed south, the pirates with their party mouth. Corner boys all calling out, so sad the war is over. Each day break there's a new parade, from uptown to the old arcade. Along the way we lost the flame, but there's burners in the kitchen. We've been staying late alive, that mansion on the mountaintop. Did you think about the thing the maestro mentioned? How tomorrow's pretty much today, and I don't predict a major change. Seem like you and me have got momentum. Seems like now we're in this pretty deep. We could get set up before we sleep. Seems like now we're in this pretty deep. We should get set up before we sleep. Hey, what's up? We're the Hold Steady. Thanks for joining us. We are celebrating the release of our record Open Door Policy. This is the, I guess, record release party, however strange it may feel. Thank you for joining us from wherever you are. And being a party, we had to bring some of our party friends to join us. Please welcome to the stage the Horn Steady, Stuart Bogey, Peter Hess, and Jordan McLean. Some party friends. Thank you for joining us. We can see you here, some of you. If you feel inclined, dance, raise your drinks. We'd love to see if you want to tell us where you're watching from via a sign. Love to see dogs. Seeing a dog right now. All around the world, this one goes out to all of you guys, and you're all our party friends. It's called Spices. She sent a picture of a plethora of poker chips spread out on the bed between the mouth and the legs. She said there's pretty many people already, but still I wish you were here. Hadn't even seen her since the previous winter. She'd been a drop-dead number since later last December. So here we are rising again. Happy Easter. You wanna go get some beers? And all the bartenders were strangling their shakers. Or springtime in the sweet part of the city. It's nice to hit the taverns with familiar companions. I kinda like it when she's laughing at me. So now we're back in touch, and we're up to old tricks. Locked in on a tip, she's trying to find the right place. She said, meet me on the corner by Central Smoking Gift. I'll be just before daybreak. But she wants to make it clear that she's done with that other stuff. Sick of all the drama club, tired of all the talking drugs. She slept over on a Saturday night, and in the morning we watched the parade. And all the majorettes had the sun in her eyes. And all the old cars seemed fatigued. The cops to the kill had me nervous as hell. It felt pretty cool when she kissed me. We're at the table and she's yelling out her order. Vanilla vodka and a Diet Dr. Pepper. Something extra on the black wax paper. We're gonna see where this goes. Something extra on the salt shaker, pouring liquor and the spun sugar. She said that we're gonna do that every Easter. Let's get on with the show. She wants to make it clear that she's a way different person than the person that I knew in the past. Once she starts rolling, it's wild like the ocean. The ocean is violent and vast. We're in the weeds and we're taking on water. She's been taking on whatever they offer. Trading stickers with the shipwrecked sailors. We're gonna see where this goes. We're in the woods with a difficult decision. Majorette's not paying much attention. And if the band ever plays a resurrection, it's at the end of the show. Southern liquor and the spun sugar. Something extra in the salt shaker. Said that we should try to do this every Easter. Let's get on as it goes. We still gotta see the end of the show. All right. Thanks for being here, guys. This record has been a journey through no fault of ours, but we recorded it and we are almost done with it in 2019. And then 2020 happened, which we all know what happened, and it took a little longer to complete, probably due to that. And also, we were kind of sort of figuring out when we were gonna, time it to play shows as bands often do. And when that became clear that that maybe wasn't going to happen super soon, we decided to put it out. So it feels like this record is probably the longest from completion to this point, which makes this feel all the sweeter. And I think it's a record we're all really proud of. And hell, I'm just gonna say it. It's our first record that made the top 10. So that feels pretty cool. So thank you guys all for being a part of it. This song's about a guy who goes to California and comes back. It's called Lanyards. When you're stuck in California, just figure that there's something you're missing. But it turns out that California is just tripping and disinterested kissing. Back in my hometown, there was nothing but the hum of the locust. And the rest of my life to get used to being washed out of showbiz. I was down around the docks, but I never saw anyone surfing. From a distance it looks pretty much perfect, but it's different in person. The doctor said he only wants to help me make more healthy decisions. Went out around the 4th of July and I was back by Thanksgiving. I danced around the subject, I swam in the Pacific like a westernmost American. Lanyards in the laminates, everybody's trying to get the right kind of wristband. Banging on the door again, she just wasn't answering. Sure, this is a struggle, man. Someone called an ambulance, straightened out her necklace, and we sped to good Samaritan. Girl from the Genesee Cleaners wasn't from there either. We sunk into the seats downtown at some second shot theater. She took me home to her place in a camper van behind some old warehouse. Said he couldn't come down and crash until we listened to Wipeout. Her character's cool, she's just dialing in her motivation. She's into new things, but she won't go to a second location. She's never gone deep, but she might make an exception for Shark Week. When you kicked in the doors, I said there's way too much blood for a nosebleed. Hospital security, everybody wants to see the right for the wristband. Said she had a meeting, I thought they were mistaken, but depression isn't kidland. She's stuck in a bed, a little fed out on her bed with the laying out the leg span. Hanging heavy traffic, drowning the Pacific, then I went back to the heartland. Doctor said he only wants to help me make more healthy decisions. Went out around the 4th of July and I was back by Thanksgiving. Saw a few stars, but I never made it into a movie. Still trying to make moves, but I'm back in Independence, Missouri. You know, they took away my headphones. Sure, they let you keep your handset, but the courtyard is a dead zone. And the nurse that they assigned me had eruption as a ringtone, blasting out through built-in speakers like it's bug spray, buzzing like a hornet halfway blown. advise you not to leave. Fed some nickels from the fountain. Make your friends and fall asleep. Let your sins be of omission. Wish you wouldn't engage with all these creeps, 'cause they're never gonna love you that one specific way that you want them all to love you. With a flexible schedule and a willingness to trade your medication, obsessive and controlling and coming up on total suffocation. She came into the cantina singing, "This must be his place, faithful as its limits, I just want to see his face." Before she took her shot, said a little grace, said, "Lord, grant me the power to stop these hands from shaking. Been falling in the fountain since a week or so before. Been rattled by the accident, my shoulders were still sore. I almost rolled my eyes when they asked me how to score, but sometimes it feels sweet to be the teacher." Well, they were calling through the carpet, I could not resist her charm. Brought them through the fortress, the calm of the family farm. Out along the towers there were guards with heavy arms. Yes, there was some tension with the neighbors. Drinking on the runway strip, tripping on the runway, laughing at the jets as we watched them fly away. She says you get what you get if you push too far ahead. You put us in these places for a reason. Resonation masquerading as wisdom. Wisdom and it's jangling the keys to the kingdom. Listing in the lobby at the hotel on the highway. Not sure you even want to be rescued. Now you're never gonna love you that one specific way that you want them all to love you. And you want them all to love you. Thank you. I want to give a special shout out to Dave McLaughlin and Kelly Shee, in case they might be watching. They are the people who helped us with photographs for the album cover. Both people we met through the band, and I guess in some ways ties the sort of idea of the open door policy together. They were open enough to allow us to use their photographs. Thanks, guys. Dave is in Perth, Australia. Kelly's in Toronto. So it was an international effort. And try as I might, I can't figure out how I would sort of tie that to this next song. So maybe we just play it. Every morning we burn the bread, walk it down to the water's edge, see the seagulls eat cigarettes, check your breath in a spoon, all your stuff in a storage shed, twisted sheets on the trundle bed, and the antipsychosis meds made you feel all marooned. Last summer at the shore when I was working cleaning carpets at the hotel that was haunted, the sailor that supposedly was murdered at the losing all this treasure in the harbor. That's back when I found romance in these girls. I was honestly more bothered by the 100 miles of hallways than the clanking of the shackles or the shadows in the doorways. And we snuck into the ballroom and made echoes in the empty. And I grabbed you and I spun you, and we both just started laughing. All the birds on the windowsill said she's crazy about horses still, and the antipsychosis pills, so much power and grace. Up there on South Ocean View, all the shells made me think of you. We bought into a 3 for $2 and a strawberry shake. First it's April, then it's August. It's the cost of doing business. There's pluses. Well, breakfast was unpleasant. You just can't keep throwing up and cover it with sawdust and pretend we didn't notice and act like it didn't happen. That summer at the shoreline, when you walked into the water, went out up to your waistline, and turned back and faced the camera. Roll your eyes back in the sockets, raise your middle fingers, defying and undamaged. So when I took the picture, this year we were standing, looking out off the veranda. She said, yeah, I guess it's pretty, but I'm a shell of what I once was. That girl in last year's picture is now haunting her own hallways. I no longer see the romance in these ghosts. This coffee's cold, this toast is gross. I no longer see the romance in these ghosts. With the wine glass on the microwave and the ashtray in the kitchenette, I could tell that it was difficult to bring that sort of subject up. It was tough to bring the subject up. Sleeper City on the power play, in the garden with a day to spare. If you know the perfect words to say, you can get it almost anywhere. That's a pretty heavy covenant to make with someone powerless. Said I'll ask about that other stuff if you're still prepared to pay for it. I know the perfect place to go. Slide your little phone into the airplane mode. Motel Mariposa, a little south of downtown on the Flemings Road. Seeing stories in the scorch mark, hearing bass lines and the buzzing of the lights. Yeah, I'll call down to the desk and say, we're gonna need another night. We're gonna stay a second night. I sell software made for offices. It increases their efficiency. Hospitals and local governments, it's a pretty heavy covenant. In a taxi to the airport, I was hoping for Tucson around town. Staring at the skyline and right back at my phone to find a friend. It seems a single body can trouble different people in this one night. Sorry, but my meeting got delayed. I'm gonna be another night. First I watched him play his instruments, a resonator with a missing string. Then I asked about the songs he did, how he decides what songs he's gonna sing. Then I asked if I could shake his hand. Then I palmed him almost $40. Then I asked about that other stuff. With a wine glass on the microwave, the ashtray in the kitchen, and I could tell that it was difficult. Sleeper City on the underplay, you can get it almost anywhere. If you know the perfect words to say, that's a pretty heavy covenant. Ask of someone powerless, said I'll ask about that other stuff. Met a guy up at the music club, gave him almost $40 to make it safe to bring the subject up. Cause it's tough to bring the subject up. Cause it's tough to bring the subject up. It's a pretty heavy covenant. Hey, thank you guys so much. Thanks for being out there. Thanks for all the kind words on Open Door Policy. It's weird, an 8th record for a band. For a lot of bands don't get to their 8th record, right? And you don't really think of them as being special records. But this one really feels to me, I think feels to all of us, like a very special record in our catalog. And so I went in kind of a deep dive, and I looked up other big rock bands' 8th records. And there's some good ones. Kiss Unmasked, no? That one's terrible. Zooropa was not, I don't like that one either. However, some Disintegration by The Cure, pretty damn good. Automatic for the People. Bad Reputation by Thin Lizzy, late period highlight. But the one that really kind of struck my eye was Eliminator, ZZ Top's Eliminator, their biggest record. And so I think I'd like to introduce this song by saying this is our Sharp Dressed Man and Legs all wrapped into one song. And we've got a cool car outside. You can't really see it right now. Frightened magic when the fawn wanders from the forest. The terror and the havoc as it wanders into traffic. Tragic conclusion of instincts and old habits against the never-ending construction. Now there's a luxury apartment, the top of a high-rise building. The people go there every weekend to witness the abandoned ascension. The scraps on the shelf said it's not so heroic, he just wants to help. We were fleeing the forest, made a few calls, looked apart at the penthouse with the window pane walls. Leather and a seafaring sweater, trying to peck at some peacock with significant feathers. She looks like she's old enough to know a little better, but these people seem really open-minded. There were these dudes on the roof deck, sitting with a sweet view of the sunset. They said you gotta meet the guy that gets the tab for this. Anything you want, you can cover it. Well, we showed them our hand stamps, even the smoke on our nails. Pointed out the projection, the PowerPoint presentation, the chum and the shark. Said it's just a reminder, love will tear us apart. He started scratching that itch that's been giving us fits since the prior procedure. Displacement such a major modern tragedy. That's why I instituted this open tour policy. I've been thinking about kicking off some new kind of family. I'm really glad that you're here. Traffic and the nature of man. How a new billionaire with an underdog shirt looks a structure to honor the weight of his words. For the rest of these martyrs marched off to work through the weekend. All right. That is, I guess, the closest there is to a title track, because it mentions open door policy. And I also want to say about the people in that last song, what a bunch of creeps. This next song, well, my friend, this good friend of mine always talks about like rip zones. Like I want to come over and he's got a little rip zone set up, and that means he's got a little party going. And so I guess that this next song is about a whole town full of rip zones. Or maybe the town is just one big rip zone. There's like, I don't think there's even space between the rip zones. I think it's just all one big rip zone. It's called Rip Town. Well, the kid's a computer, he's programmed to dream. He stumbled to start, but regained his speed. He spent my superpowers, I say what I mean. He's always in the red, white, and blue. The lens cap was lost, so they stretched out the chute. The second location, he stepped to his shoes. He said, do me a favor, let me order for you. You should really try something different. Really funny running into you. I love these tiny little collisions. The kids on the corner ain't here for the help. They're just trying to uphold the tradition. Millions of guys down in the bathroom, obsessing over minor abrasions. Some local legend let me sick of the tech, and he hit with his whole presentation. Be careful of the second locations. director's distracted, he's losing his light. The actors are wrapped up in ropes for the night. Her sister went sideways, her mother's right. And these things tend to run in the family. Really funny running into you. I love these tiny little collisions. Who knows that her mother ain't right here to judge her? She tries not to date other actors. A million tiny bugs at the breakdown, and a second time it felt like the first. The doctors kept saying, trust the medication. When he hit it, kinda thought he at first. Another quick visit to Riptown. Another kid with his thumb in his belt loop. And he was pinned back in the booth. When he tried to tell the truth, he said you'd rather be with somebody new. Monday night locked in a motel bathroom with your psyche dressed up for display. And you're standing at the moment with some high glitchy robot who's giving her the whole play-by-play. Another sick smile from the spotlight. Another sketchy crucifixion tattoo. I know it probably covers some hardline thunder, all messed up with the red, white, and blue. You gotta wanna be rescued. All right. So this next song, well, here's a funny story. Franz brought in this piece of music, and I sort of had this idea for a story about two women. One was the narrator, and one was named Magdalena. And so I wrote the song. And the first line was me and Magdalena, so when we got to looking for a title, that seemed like a good title, Me and Magdalena. And then, when the record was off at being printed, I discovered there's another song called Me and Magdalena. Obviously not this song, but it's a song by the Monkees from a record of theirs in the 2000s, a late period Monkees record, produced by the late Adam Schlesinger. And their song, Me and Magdalena, was actually written by Ben Gibbard. And so I hit play online, and I heard the song. And it's a really good song. So here's what I think. For sure I've heard of this song, because there's no way subconsciously I think I would just come up with Me and Magdalena on my own. But I knew I haven't heard that song because I liked the song so much I think I would have remembered the song. All of which is to say, on the day our record came out, I realized that I hope this doesn't end up in some weird misunderstanding. So I emailed Ben Gibbard and said, here's the deal. And he wasn't pissed, so that's cool. He understood fully, and I think that's just things that happen to songwriters. So this is our Me and Magdalena. Me and Magdalena used to go out every night. Thought she was a pretty one, they thought that I was nice. The boys that we've been twisting with us suddenly got wildly inconsistent. Like first they're into Kiss, and then they're into crust. Spent the summer fighting over crumbs. Yeah, there must be something more than this. The grackles of the snack bar waging war for popcorn and potato chips. The records that the DJ played didn't make us move like the way they used to make us move. At first they're into death, then they're into dust, then they're into disco, so now they're into drugs. But one night at the bandstand, Magdalena met a front man. He spent the sun, but now this stupid sun came up. Stunned, she set him free under yesterday's marquee. Blew a kiss and got back on the bus. Told her she should probably prepare to be let down. Distances are difficult, heavy is the crown. She said to be together anytime that she's in town. Smoking at the swimming pool, combing out the grease. She showed me a postcard that he sent from overseas. Said the castle's all creepy, and I haven't been to sleep. And it's been like 14 weeks. She sent him a ticket, visit after Christmas. Said the West Coast was everything he wished it was. She decided she would stay, be with him out in LA. Gonna have to try to clean him up. Didn't even come back to get her stuff. Records are so heavy, you can't hurry love. Hates to be alone and they're trying to clean him up. I'm still in the apartment that I've had for 7 years. Magdalena disconnected, the rest isn't clear. Something in the silence that hurts a bit to hear. It sucks to be a band and certain songs can really sing. I still admit that psychopath can sing. Distances are difficult, precious is the time. But he canceled all those concerts, there were rumors that he died. Someone made a joke about the camel in his eye. Guess the needle was implied. Last night Magdalena rang me really late. Said nothing ever works, only so much I can take. I'll make it back to Squin, can clean up at my place. London made it look like she's been captured, sitting up and staring into space. And suddenly she turned to me and said, "You seem pretty harmless." The dosage was open for debate. The party with the python in the shower, Heather with the henna on her hands. Once we started mixing it with sodium bicarbonate, we got backstage and hung out with the band. I went down around the fisherman, I was looking for a hook. I was hoping that I'd have something by lunchtime. The coolest part about her is she has her own apartment, but still an inconvenient place to die. The party with the python in the shower, Heather with the henna on her hands. Once we started mixing it with sodium bicarbonate, we got backstage and hung out with the band. And they said, "You're the one that really makes it happen. If you're ever on the West Coast, give a shout." The manager asked if we'd break off a little package. The singer put his finger in my mouth. We were up against the miracle, maxed out every night. Knees were shot from way too many prayers. I swear I saw soldiers selling single cigarettes, stationed about halfway up the stairs. Yeah, sure. Certain speeds it all becomes a blur. We're friends. It seems a little soft along the edge, and it stars. Once she turns the torch into the dark, and it ends. Once she puts her hand over the lens. I remember you were tender when you tried to make it better. You sang me this song about the shipwreck. The hand that held the camera was trying not to tremble. Lighty made her look like she's a hostage. Yeah, sure. At certain speeds we're often insecure. Yeah, sure. The borderlines they smear into a blur, and it stars. We sing and put our hands over our hearts, and it ends when Heather puts her hand over the lens. All right, give it up for the horn steady. Jordan McLean, Stuart Bogey, Peter Hess. The first ever three-piece horn steady. It just keeps getting bigger and better. So, in some ways, that's where the album ends. But there is a bonus track, which we will, of course, play for you. Before we do, I want to thank Relics for having us and the Brooklyn Bowl for hosting this event. Brooklyn Bowl for 5 years of amazingness as far as the Hold Steady goes. Have become family, and the Relics is part of that family. So thank you so much for having us. Hosting a great way to feel like this record is fully out in the world. And thank you for holding up signs like the one that says "So Much Joy" right there. That is how I'm feeling right now, and I think we all are. So thank you guys for being a part of it. We're going to leave you with this song. It's called "Parade Days." She was born in the morning with some war winding down, and if her uncle is gone, at least she'll be around. Yes, she'll be around. Folks were good neighbors just when somebody died. And Paris did dances, mostly used to stand off to the side. A Pontiac salesman and a beauty technician, young mother and father, and all the things they wanted for their daughter. School was a stockyard that just tried to hold them, that didn't hold too hard. On the bus with their headphones, breathing steam in the windows, joining forces in boredom with the boys down at the bus, all breaking bottles. School is just over. Saw an ad in the paper, Half-Life and housewares, on the escalator up to downtown Dayton's. On the sidewalk with sparklers, in the distance the drummers, her favorite part of the summer. Her mother with cupcakes, her father with handshakes, an honor and a pleasure to present to you the new queen of the lakes. In the gray of the break room, there's a tear in the fabric. The house is all hers now. The first time she noticed the bags at the bus stop, our pleasure to present to you the new queen of the lakes.